Welcome back to New Rockstars, I'm Erik Voss, and WandaVision's latest full trailer finally began to reveal its darker secrets in what I have been referring to as the back nine of these trailers. Once you get past those goofy, nostalgic sitcom homages designed to hook, I suppose, the core TV land demographic, what the devil is really going on here? Not today, Mephisto! Apparently no one wants to hear how evil is everywhere you look. One detail that was confirmed in this WandaVision trailer and other Disney Investor Day Marvel footage was something we have speculated for a while, a return to Sokovia in the MCU. In the breakdown, I discovered that the penultimate shot of Wanda with the Mind Stone was a recreation of Wanda's past as an inmate in that Sokovian Hydra base, which we saw in that post-credit scene of 2014's Captain America Winter Soldier. But folks, there are more sightings of Wanda's Sokovian past hidden in this trailer. I gotta break it down for you guys, along with maybe a clue pointing to the return of Quicksilver, Pietro Maximoff, Aaron Taylor-Johnson in this show, and I'm gonna explain why this is so important to how the MCU moves forward beyond WandaVision. Okay, the trailer ends with this interesting close-up of Wanda basking in the yellow glow of the Mind Stone. Now, a few things tell us this is taking place in her Sokovian captivity. Wanda's look, she's pale, she's got stringy hair, gray clothes, just like she had in that scene. Then there's the fact that this Mind Stone first appears to be in a blue casing as the Mind Stone was when it was contained in Loki's scepter, and you can briefly make out her surroundings. She's in this windowless room with an observation mirror, like ones that you could imagine Von Strucker and Dr. List looking at her through. This all confirms that Wanda will, in some kind of flashback, return to that moment her powers were activated in that Hydra base. Wanda and Pietro got their powers from the Mind Stone in the scepter, but that process was left super vague. Part of the reason is that in the Marvel comics, Wanda and Pietro are mutants whose powers emerged through different means way earlier in their lives. Both were children of Erik Lehnsherr, Magneto, and Wanda as a child was cursed by the demon Chthon, leaving her with the sorcery in the form of scarlet-tinted chaos magic. Avengers Age of Ultron was legally prohibited from exploring that backstory because the rights to these characters as mutants were technically owned by Fox, then a rival studio. So that movie had to awkwardly refer to them as enhanced. Not anymore though, Disney owns everything! And now we've been getting these little signs, like passages in MCU companion books that Wanda, Pietro, and other Sokovians were born with genetic predispositions that made them more agreeable test subjects for the Mind Stone's radiation. In other words, Marvel can say Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were always mutants, just with dormant powers that the Mind Stone's radiation just accelerated and woke up. And speaking of radiation, using a UV light to scan for crucial MCU details in a book isn't really how most Marvel fans want to experience these stories. So now it appears WandaVision will show us that origin story and how it went down exactly. And this backstory appears to be important to everything Wanda is experiencing in the series, because here is the big detail, something I spotted in the breakdown but did not fully appreciate the significance of. When Wanda's 60s home glitches and transforms around her, on her dining room wall briefly appears to be this mural of a mountainside building. A Colorado hotel? Turns out, nope, this is Fort Bard, aka the film setting of the Hydra research base in Sokovia in Avengers Age of Ultron. So Wanda's past in Sokovia is calling to her an unexplored trauma and grief over the brother she lost in that country, now haunting her present reality, with her grief from losing Vision tearing back open all the grief she tried to bury. So does a flashback to Sokovia mean Pietro Maximoff, Quicksilver, Aaron Taylor-Johnson will appear on the show? Is he already in this trailer? But before I continue, thank you to Bang Energy for sponsoring this video. Sweet. Every can of Bang is 16 ounces. It contains 300 milligrams of caffeine. It's sugar-free and it has 0 calories, yet it tastes real great. There's over 20 different flavors to choose from. One of those great flavors is Bangster Berry, a berry that I presume due to mandatory sentencing laws probably went to jail for a long time, because being a Bangster doesn't pay, but it does make a delicious energy drink. Check out Bang on Instagram. You can get 25% off your order at bangenergy.com when you use the code NewRockstars25. There you can buy cans of Bang Energy. They got a sweet tea flavor. They got a keto coffee flavor. You can also get clothing or fitness supplements, all kinds of stuff to be your your best Bang self. Thanks again to Bang Energy for sponsoring this video. Get 25% off at bangenergy.com using the code NewRockstars25. Another interesting thing about this Mind Stone shot in the WandaVision trailer is the fact that the stone appears to burst out of its blue casing, floating in the air at Wanda's eye level, not appearing to be in the scepter. When Ultron plucked that stone out of the scepter, it was a big deal. But now it seems like this stone could go in and out and in and out of that thing. That the stone was lifted from the scepter housing before that transplant to what would eventually become Vision's android forehead. And if you look closely beneath the yellow glow in the over-the-shoulder shot of Wanda, when it appears to blow her back, there is something on the table in front of her. It looks like a box or a container of some kind. And maybe this is the way Dr. List and Von Strucker exposed Wanda to that radiation. They couldn't weaponize it in the scepter, but they could just throw that radioactive rock in the room with her. But the reason why all those other test subjects failed is that this stone made a connection with Wanda. Of all the 6 stones, the Mind Stone is the smart one. It's got an inner intelligence to it. It spoke to Vision, and here I think it selected Wanda to transfer its power to her. This is important because in Wanda's eyes, you can see 2 sets of glowing objects. One presumably from the stone, the much brighter one. The other, maybe it's just a production light source. But if they focused on her eyes so much, there are clearly 2 things glowing there. Is something or someone else in that room receiving a glow from the Mind Stone? Wanda's brother Pietro? Either way, we see that stone blowing Wanda back with a violent force, similar to the Infinity Stone radiation shockwave that struck Carol Danvers in Captain Marvel. The scene geography of that post-credit scene suggests that just on the other side of Wanda's wall is her brother. So whatever blast hits her here could have also hit her brother. It might even be the case that the Mind Stone only selected Wanda, but that accident that caused her to be irradiated also caught Pietro in the blast, and it was just fortunate that he had a similar DNA structure that allowed both of them to survive it. In a way, Wanda's inciting incident would have put her brother on his doomed path, further contextualizing her grief as survivor's guilt. She feels like she's got blood on her hands, making the Mind Stone her curse. And this cosmic link keeps getting all the men she loves killed. And while Wanda carries this guilt with her, and we will see the vulnerable attempts that she makes to right those wrongs via sitcom-inspired projected realities in WandaVision, of course none of this is truly Wanda's fault. She is being used. And we know this from that moment with Jimmy Woo's voice coming over the radio into that reality, telling us that Wanda is a victim.
Wanda, can you read me? Who's doing this to you?
And I've talked at length about the various dark forces that could be actively manipulating her from the outside. This detail, returning to Sokovia, tells us that this show will rewind the clock to the beginning to answer that question. What is going on inside Wanda? And now that Marvel Studios can freely explore things like mutant history and the X gene in the MCU, I'm guessing we're gonna hear words like that in these flashbacks, along with hopefully a reference to the paternity that bestowed these genetic miracles upon the twins, coming from Erik Magneto, even if it's in the form of a birth certificate with the space for father marked with just the letter X. I'll take it. I'll make 1,000 videos about it. Give me that X, WandaVision. WandaVision premieres on Disney Plus January 15th, and in addition to in-depth Easter egg breakdowns for each episode, we will be doing same-day after shows. Go ahead, the podcast is there, Inside Marvel, a WandaVision after show. More details to come, folks. Support this channel by checking out our great merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com. Follow me at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars. Thanks for watching. Boom.